You said that the UAE experiences 50,000 cyber attacks every single day.
Every day we've been getting at least 100 to 150,000 attacks in a daily basis.
And it's almost the number of attacks have tripled.
Because of the great continuous digital transformations that we had, continuous build-up of so many infrastructures, everybody is moving toward that digitization. And that's why you will see more and more attacks. We don't want to introduce cybersecurity because of the sake of cybersecurity. We need to have this as a culture to them to ensure the safety and security whenever they click, whenever they open, whenever they use any of those aspects. None of those attacks get proceeding from our early detection systems that we have.
Could you explain to us what are these numbers over here?
It's a live, real-time monitoring of any attacks that happens, detecting those attacks, and even automating some of those responses using AI.
What are the opportunities that exist for new players in cybersecurity?
Innovation has no limits. Everybody cannot distinguish between fake and reality with the AI. AI is not just a technology that added into our lifestyle. It is by itself a lifestyle. This is a place where everybody could actually come in and really help on that.
The UAE is very well trusted in the physical space, and even in the digital space, you're enabling that.
Today, UAE is as well number one in cybersecurity aspects under the Global Cyber Index with the United Nations. We have so many pillars that we continuing being number one.
Dr. Kuwaiti, thank you so much for joining the GISEC Podcast. We have this beautiful screen behind us. Could you explain to us what are these numbers over here?
Thank you very much, Need, for again bringing us again on that great interviews that you've already been doing greatly here and there, adding value to spreading the awareness of the importance of cybersecurity across all domains. So one of those awareness is actually about the critical infrastructure protection. As Cybersecurity Council oversee many of those regulations and compliances of the government and how good they are doing into many of the cyber domains, we need to visualize that to our leadership, to our ministers, to many of those sectorial aspects. And that's what we're doing here, as a matter of fact. And it's a live, real-time monitoring of any attacks that happens, detecting those attacks, and even automating some of those responses using, again, many of everybody talks about AI and using, we like to talk about the people on that equation. And they're the one who's behind every single thing that we see here. And at the same time, we have the pulse system. And that pulse is mimicking all of the critical infrastructures that we have here in country.
Absolutely. Awareness is the most important thing. And last year when we met, you said that the UAE experiences 50,000 cyber attacks every single day. How are we doing this year, Mr. Kuwaiti?
Well, this year, as I checked lately, in the past 1 month, almost every day we've been getting at least 100 to 150,000 attacks in a daily basis.
Wow.
We moved from last year because of the great continuous digital transformations that we had, continuous build-up of so many infrastructures that we are actually depending on our ministries, entities, everybody is moving toward that digitization. And that's why you will see more and more attacks. Like, alhamdulillah, the good thing, none of those attacks get proceeding from our early detection systems that we have.
I see what you have over here. It's amazing. And I want to comment on that because last year when we met, you said 50,000 cyber attacks. 150,000, it's almost the number of attacks have tripled. Why do you think this has happened, Dr. Kuwaiti?
So one, we added so many hyperscalers in country. We added so many data centers in country. We added so many applications that comes every day, as well as many services that the people and the government used to do from a physical perspective into a digital perspective. Now you can do so many of those using simple applications, be it from TAM application, for example. This is one of the applications we have, or so many other applications in this regard. So by moving towards that digitizations, people have more threat landscape from that digital aspects. And this is what actually increased those threat landscapes. And this is why we definitely need to protect those. And this is why we need that partnership with every single ministries, entities here in country, and with you all to spread the word of the importance of cyber security culture. And it is a culture.
Absolutely. And you know, the UAE is very well trusted in the physical space, right? And even in the digital space, you're enabling that. what three pillars are important to keep that trust alive?
In the physical space, UAE, Alhamdulillah, as well as Abu Dhabi and Dubai, are one of the safest cities in the world. If even not ranked number one across so many cities. In addition to that, we, Alhamdulillah, blessing and glories to leadership that who are actually really helped in many of those things. Today, UAE is as well number one in cybersecurity aspects under the Global Cyber Index with the United Nations. We have so many pillars that we depends in continuing being number one. One of them is the culture. People and really sending that culture across so many aspects. Culture to us is a lifestyle, something that we live on in a daily basis. We don't want to introduce cybersecurity because of the sake of cybersecurity. We need it to be a hygiene in everybody's use in a daily perspective. How much the whole generation now, the younger generation, is using their phones from the minute they wake up or the way to the minutes that they sleep. They are at least, if not half of the day on their phone. We need to have this as a culture to them to ensure the safety and security whenever they click, whenever they open, whenever they use any of those aspects. So one is the culture, is the people.
Perfect.
Second pillar is the technology itself. We don't want to be only a user of technology. Definitely, we're using this technology, but we need to really invent, develop, enhance, optimize this technology for the benefit of the people's convenience, for the human beings here. And that's what we are doing, as a matter of fact, across many of the sectors. Healthcare, for example, introducing AI in the healthcare and really adding a very accurate and a very precise type of optimizations of many of those diagnoses that we see. And similarly, in the banking sectors and the financial sectors, now you can see so many AI features added in that to save and secure people's as well as their, alhamdulillah, money in that perspective, and continuing the same in every single sector. So people, culture, as well as that technology that we use are many of those pillars that we definitely always depends on.
So people, culture, and technology, the three pillars on which we work on. And as you see, we are currently in 2025, right? Where do you see the market evolve in 2033, according to UAE's initiative for D33? Where do you see it evolving, and what are the opportunities that exist for new players in cybersecurity?
So it's very important as well to know the vision of the UAE, which is moving towards an AI nation. That's the centennial of 2071. And as a milestones, we have the UAE 2031. And many of those goals were focused on, as a matter of fact, leveraging and using the AI and the technology in that perspective. And this what opens, as a matter of fact, so many opportunities to every single players in this market. I'm sure you've seen in that exhibitions, for example, the added number of those exhibitors. Yesterday, we were discussing about the North Star and the startups on that aspect. Those startups, they have great promises that they will be doing in the next, again, 2, 3, 5 years, let alone the longer period of even 10 or 20 years in that perspective. AI is not just a technology that added into our lifestyle. It is by itself a lifestyle. It is, as a matter of fact, adding a great and greater convenience to us people.
Correct.
If you can ask today any student in the school, I'm not saying that they're not using this to write their essays or to write many of their research, but this is where they are actually changing the game. Even to a specific question that they might not find the answer to, they turn towards, again, ChatGPT or many of this, and voila, in less than seconds, they have an answer that they were hesitant to ask the professor or the teacher. And this what really brought a great added value to everybody in that perspective. The whole ecosystem is really moving towards that centralized, specialized AI use. Maybe we use the AI at the beginning as public AI. Nowadays, you can see it actually, as a matter of fact, sectorial focused AI and even personalized AI. And this is what we will be actually continuing and seeing in the next 5, 10 years. And this is why everybody will have a great piece on this. Innovation has no limits. I was walking yesterday on those 2,000 startups in the North Star. I was so amazed.
So many of them were AI startups, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
To see those young generation. Even from a simple applications, they added a plugin and they opened a company and they made a fortune just up from that simple cartoon type of changing the pictures of the people. There is a whole important added value as well here for the people of determination. And I was really amazed yesterday as well to see that specific edge technology that added this greater value to those people of determination. How happy they are actually when they use this specific technology to help them better understand, better listen, better, as a matter of fact, communicate with the environment around them. It was so amazing in that. And this is where, again, back to your point, in the future, we will be seeing so much of those specialized AI for persons, for people, and for sectors, as a matter of fact.
Absolutely. And in fact, more and more AI companies are moving to the UAE, right? How is Cyber Council supporting these new companies that is there?
AI means data. Data needs many of those processing power and scales as well as GPUs to run. And this is where those data need to be protected. We have already worked with so many, be it from the hyperscaler, the infrastructures, to the network. We have EAND as well as Do, one of the major infrastructures, as well as a service provider here, as well as our partners, international partners. I'm sure you've heard of so many hyperscalers coming in the market.
Correct.
And we are bundling so many of those services together to ensure the safety and security of the data. Some of those are, as a matter of fact, hosting a SOC managed service. And that SOC as a service allows many of those small, medium businesses not to invest in the bigger scale of building an actual SOC. It's just a service that they can provide easily from so many of those providers. There is as well the agentic AI, and now everybody is building those agents. So we have a service called test and validation of those agents. This where it goes to the source code and verify and validate this source code if it's complied with many of our national compliances in that perspective. Then there is as well many of the training and the capacity building and awareness that we are actually doing. We have a major initiative called the Cyber Pulse. And that Cyber Pulse is, again, as you greatly participated in that, of spreading the awareness. That Cyber Pulse goes from a simple 30-second video that shows them how not to believe deep fake videos, all the way to bigger pulse that we are actually showing here is protecting the critical infrastructure of those entities. So it's a continuous, alhamdulillah, engagement with so many of those entities with the goal of protecting them, protecting their models, protecting the data that they have.
It all depends on the people, like you said. Like one of the key pillars is people, and people need to be made aware. How do you see international organizations which are coming over here? How can they participate from their side? So you're doing a lot of initiatives from your side, Dr. Kuwaiti. I mean, from the Cyber Council side. But what are some things that the organizations can do to spread awareness as well?
Before coming into that point, what they can do and add value in this, as a matter of fact, UAE is bringing so many companies to really help and support in building an AI nation. And that's what we've seen from the governings and the policies and even the legislations, from giving all of those a great golden visa or even nationalities in some of those aspects, all the way from, as a matter of fact, easing, opening so many companies with a very simple steps that you could actually build and open your company. So from that perspective, now there are already great players who are adding great value to us in this perspective. And this where they come and, as a matter of fact, provide their training agenda in many of the things that they have. They went and we worked with so many companies to educate this younger generation from KG1 to grade 1, all the way to grade 12, and even to the universities. Many of those companies, they come and show how simple it is to trick people, to attack, to do many of those things. The capacity building for us is very important. Training, and even doing a simulated type of attacks. And that's what we actually always focus on. Some of those sectors, alhamdulillah, they realize the importance of training as well as the simulated attacks. And this is where, alhamdulillah, it paid off when we had an attack of all of those 150,000 attacks that we've seen. Everybody knows the standard operation procedures, what to follow. Everybody knows where they are actually need to call, what they need to add into that picture. Many of those companies as well, not only from the training and the curriculum that they are actually adding, they're bringing a early detecting of any of those attacks. We saw, for example, quarantining of any of ransomware before it spreads into a whole network or in the whole systems of any of those entities. We saw many of those technologies who could actually even as simple as checks that AI agents before it actually deployed into a production environment. Those are really great solutions. Those companies are adding value for us and even adding in the simulation and the training. You saw that we have, alhamdulillah, in GITEX by itself more than 7 or 9 training, capture the flag, cyber exercises, hackathons, spread across the whole environment here to spread that importance of awareness and to really build many of this culture of cybersecurity.
Absolutely. And in fact, I love the point which you mentioned earlier about golden visas. Golden visas is one of the ways where UAE is attracting great talent, right, to come over here. What are the other initiatives? That UAE is doing to attract such great talent? Golden visas being one among them. Could you name a few from your side?
I'm sure you've heard that in the World Government Summit, when we brought, again, great players, leaders, and especially in this field, in the field of AI, in the field of, again, hyperscalers, everybody sometimes get hits with the policies, get hits with the laws. Can they try to do this or that? Can they try to? In UAE, we have one of the major support from, again, the government, the elasticity of those laws, the elasticity of those governings. If you have a new technology and you want to test it, you want to actually build it and build into it so many connectivities with everybody, this is where the place. You have a new idea, innovative idea that you want to actually really explore it across some of the sectors. This is where the place we have. You have, as a matter of fact, like the Hub 71, Dubai Silicon Valley, many of those accelerator and incubator who, as a matter of fact, takes the idea of those small and medium businesses, build into it, support them, fund them, and work together in order to take them to the market. Our goal is to have UAE as a hub of so many of those aspects to the whole world, to the whole humanity. Alhamdulillah, the convenience of using technology to help humanity, that's what will always be our goal in order to become that AI nation, inshallah.
It's beautiful. I absolutely love what you're saying. And this brings a very critical question, right? Vendors, what kind of problems they should be solving in your opinion? What is the most critical problem that you see that new vendors who are starting out should look at? Because a vendor cannot do everything in cybersecurity. According to you, Dr. Kuwaiti, what would that be?
So many companies comes to us scattered in their thinking and trying to find a place where to start. Definitely, we direct them into those specific need that we see from the society, from the government, from the entities. And there are so many of those sectarian aspects that we are actually focused on, be it the healthcare, be it the education, the aviation, the energy, many of those aspects. From our perspective, if I focus on the cybersecurity, where we actually comes from, today moving towards OT, the operational technology, and knowing that there are so many legacy systems, there are so many conventional systems that we need to upgrade. We need to ensure the safety and security of those systems. That's a great start. Now, everybody knows many of those systems never connect online. But guess what? There are so many need of connecting those systems online on a specialized secure network. And this is one of the domains today. Some of those entities are really working and trying to help us how we can connect all of those, be it the electricity grid, be it the power grid, be it the water grid, be it any of those even energy aspects, how we can connect it online and focus on many of those aspects. One of the major things that I myself, as a matter of fact, in the cybersecurity been facing is the fraudulents who calls you and who ask for scamming you or getting your OTP or informations or many of those aspects. There is a need of those early detecting systems of actually catching many of those systems from the device itself, the endpoint, all the way to the person and the training and many of those aspects. Even the more we educate and the more we spread this awareness, yet we still see many of those attacks because everybody now is moving towards, again, digitization. Everybody cannot distinguish between fake and reality with the AI, this is a place where everybody could actually come in and really help on that. And I will end up with another example as well in the social media. And I'm sure you see now our younger generations going towards Snapchat, TikTok, many of those video types, no longer chatting or texting, or nobody like to do that nowadays. They always like, again, a whole video aspect. Now, in those videos, there are so many early detection systems that we could actually find. Again, I'm talking from a cybersecurity perspective. There are so many scams or even frauds or even, God forbid, some terrorist type of aspects that could be actually really reach to that. Detecting someone wants to commit, God forbid, suicide. Detecting someone is using a drug on those aspects. I know those platforms are hard to actually spread some of those aspects, but guess what? There are something that are used in this regard. So using the social media as a platform to enter towards, again, many of the things that we do. By the end of the day, those, be it government or entities or even personals, they want to really ensure the safety and security of all of these platforms whenever their kids using it, whenever anybody is using it. And that's what we are really trying to focus on.
Nowadays, if you look at the average time that people are spending, especially kids and adults, I know people who are 4 hours on social media. Sometimes they're spending 3 hours. And if someone is spending that much time, it only makes sense to ensure and protect that. Dr. Kuwaiti, you also mentioned something which was very interesting from your side. You said that we are moving more towards digitization. And in the UAE, you also see the moving away from one-time passcodes coming to SMSs. We are soon going to be moving away from that. What was the thought process behind that, and why are we doing this step?
Actually, as a matter of fact, if you see in the financial sector, they are trying gradually to move away from OTP. And this is where you can, again, I won't say easily hacking that OTP or tricking someone to give you that OTP. By the end of the day, as we learned in that cybersecurity, you need to have this mixtures of something you have, something you know, and something you are, as a matter of fact. And this is where the biometrics comes.
Correct.
This is where many of those, alhamdulillah, as well, face recognition or even a saved password, which has a complex type of numbers in it. This is the next generation security that we need to actually allow our teams, and specifically here speaking about government entities, banks, transactions, APIs. I'm sure you have seen so many APIs now connected to every single platform that we have. Those APIs does not authenticate using an OTP. They need to authenticate using even a higher and continuously authenticating that. Maybe the persons or the people, now they are moving gradually away from many of those SMS or OTP on that aspect. That's what we are actually really focusing on. Now, in some of the cases where we have actually an elderly lady, when she got a scam call, they ask her to update her information. They were so real, speaking from an agency perspective, from a bank perspective. And she even gave them that OTP that they sent to her or the bank sent to her. And she lost more than 20,000 dirham. That's the saving of her life to that elder lady. And I even myself, I was speaking with her on those aspects. How you can explain to that lady that she's the one who gave them the OTP. She authenticated them and she gave them that OTP. Again, the response comes of where are we to protect her? Where are we to actually, and this is where the awareness comes in that aspect. Alhamdulillah, we managed to do so many things for that lady, alhamdulillah, and so many people, as a matter of fact. But moving away from tricking someone of just as simple as an OTP to more complex things, that would make a deterrence. And that's
100%.
what we are trying to actually send. A deterrence into those attackers before they think of attacking our environment, our people, our residents who lives in UAE, that they think twice, that there is not only an OTP that you can
You made
avoid
it difficult.
and bypass, you make it difficult, that there are other things to happen.
We really have to also explore from our side. You've been a supporter for GISEC. We always see you in GISEC all the time. How does GISEC and the council work together? If you can talk a little bit about that from your side.
GISEC is a more focused area of our real government information security aspects. And this is where the unique come from that exact GISEC, alhamdulillah, event. Alhamdulillah, we have GITEX. So many things here. You see so many things that you can hear, different technologies. But if you come to GISEC and you see the elite and the niche technologies that comes into that event, add to that the specialized people who are, as a matter of fact, really empowering that event. Add to that the international global cyber drill, where we have not only, again, an educational or an academia who are actually working on that, we have specifically government, more than 130 government last time. Alhamdulillah, we really broke great records there. It's the government entities who are really focused and really tasked to protect these government in that perspective. This is where we showed off great cases there. You added the great value. GISEC added the great value to everybody. And many people comes to us actually speaking about this partnership. When you partner in your peers, in your community, in the cyber community, and GISEC, that's what we've seen.
Absolutely.
Alhamdulillah, it was again really bringing all of those countries together, focusing and talking the same language, networking with everybody. When someone gets an attack, he can speak with that specific person. Again, GITEX is great, but it's not those subject matter expert of the cybersecurity in this aspects. Here you can see and find mixture of everybody in that event.
It's only cybersecurity.
It's very
niche.
Very niche.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is where you
And
see so many
niche
things.
is where it's important, right? Because it's important to go deeper into a topic.
And this is where the innovation comes. As a matter of fact, in GISEC, we saw, and many of those startups comes from those specific challenges you were speaking of, what those companies can actually focus on. That's where you can find the specific focus that they could actually add value to.
Now, Dr. Kuwaiti, I have a follow-up question, okay? A lot of people fly in from different areas. Some people fly in from different countries to come to GISEC, right? If a person is coming from, say, Ukraine or any other country, and they want to make the most of GISEC, what they should visit, who are the vendors they should talk to, which are the companies they need to interact with, which are the government entities they need to talk to. So give us something that a person who's visiting next year can use. You know, they can see this video and they know what is it that they need to do from their side.
So I'm sure, alhamdulillah, next year we will be moving to a bigger place. We will be moving to a nicer, specific, alhamdulillah, area. We will be having more and more countries in that perspective. We will be having as well partnership with so many government as well as multi-government organizations. So many things that they could actually partner. So my three major recommendations, one is to make a connection of all of those countries. Let me specifically start. Those countries, you will see, as a matter of fact, like UAE, we have special things that maybe other countries does not have. And this is where we are utilizing AI and AI agents in automating many of those detections. We are a small country by the end of the day. If someone has a similar benchmarking to UAE nation and he wants to see how we leverage those less skilled people as well as less manpower of protecting a nations, that's where they can come. That they can come to us, Cybersecurity Council, really partner with us, see how we automated so many of the early detection, early responding, as well as even deterring many of those attacks. So from a country perspective, definitely UAE is one of the major things that they could actually build and work with us on that aspect. Second, from a company and vendors perspective, everybody will add value. Networking into that environment by itself will definitely add great value. I will talk about technologies, maybe not companies in particular, technologies with all of the AI, with all of the agentic AI, command and control of many of those orchestrating of the AI, and knowing which agent is actually doing the right things, which agent is trying to actually override or even take over some of the other things they're not supposed to. Again, some of those companies, alhamdulillah, they have a very nice technology on those perspective. And other than those technologies as well, there is the technologies that because it will be more AI, more everybody is using and creating those fleet of AI agents. It's very important to do those test and validation on the run for many of those AIs. And yes, we've seen many companies who are actually really focused on this. Maybe it's in the R&D phase. Some of it is mature enough. to a specific certain aspects, but having a technology to test and validate your agent and to really check the secure code of many of those agents is very, very important. So number two, those technologies. And number three, I will say that they come enjoy Dubai, enjoy UAE. They will
Absolutely.
see a whole smart city in action from the minute they enter the airport, walking through many of those smart gates seamlessly, really having not more than, again, the KPI of 10 to 15 minutes to get out from that airport, from the minute you actually step into that airport, going into that taxis, going to the hotels, really looking into a Burj Khalifa, going into the mall there. They will see a whole nation with an AI agent, vibes that are actually bringing a clear, smart city aspects across every sector. And this is where they can learn. By saying that, we are, as a matter of fact, learning ourselves. We are trying to enhance all of this ecosystem and partnering with everybody from east, west, north, south. We are welcoming everybody. Would love to have, inshallah, everybody to come and join us in GISEC. And inshallah, I'm sure they will see something that they never seen before, as always.
Inshallah, Radar. And thank you so much, Dr. Kuwaiti, for sharing all these insights. And yeah, it was beautiful hearing from you and seeing where we are headed as a nation, as a country. And this is an open invitation. Please do visit GISEC. Please follow the advice that Dr. Kuwaiti has just shared, and you'll make the most of it from your side. Thank you.
Thank you, Need.